Now on Central, it's time for Sports Week. Here's Elton.
We've got the champ with us this morning. He hasn't got a nickname or a catchphrase. Know who I mean?
We brought in the heavyweights for you this morning, and you all know what that means. The names on everyone's lips: Tyson and Bruno. The British heavyweight champion Gary Mason joins us before flying out to Vegas to cheer for the rest of us. Champions-elect, Arsenal, ahead on points. All the scoring shots from the First Division later in the show. And reaching for the parts even Arsenal can't. Wigan, favourites to make it all the way to the Rugby League Cup final at Wembley.
Well, the alternative to building a career at provincial boxing venues around the country, hoping eventually to get a crack at the American market, is to take a shortcut or a gamble, go straight there. Another London heavyweight has done just that, Alex Stewart. A wise move? Well, we'll discover shortly. Also from abroad, our European football roundup, and Clive Tilsley has been investigating ways that you too could bring the game into disrepute. Gary, welcome to Sports Week this morning. Now, it's next week you go to Las Vegas to see Frank Bruno try and win the world heavyweight title against Mike Tyson. Now, a lot of people would say that it's a pretty pointless journey.
I don't think it really is. Frank's a stablemate and a very good friend of mine, as you know. And I think anybody here would wish Frank the best, and if you could really afford to do it, go out there and cheer him on. I can't. Frank's paying for it, so I'll go out there and cheer my heart out.
Are you hoping to make a few contacts yourself out there?
I don't think that's going to be really be possible at this stage. The main thing is just to go out and watch Frank and give him as much inspiration and help as I can do.
Good. All right. Well, as one American commentator put it, Gary, it isn't a fight, really. It's more of a soap opera. Because of the delays, Bruno hasn't fought for 18 months. Even then, it was against a mobile punch bag in the podgy shape of Joe Bugner. Tyson hasn't fought inside the ring since he put the lights out on Michael Spinks 8 months ago. He's had his altercations, though, with cars, trees, nutcases, managers, trainers, cameramen, a wife and a mother-in-law. But according to reports from Las Vegas, he's come through it all. He's in great condition. The most destructive heavyweight force since Rocky Marciano is raring to go.
Oh, beautiful punch that. That was one out of the blue. Now, he used to have the best recuperative powers I've ever seen on a heavyweight, Holmes, but I doubt now whether he's going to recover from this. He's getting the full 8 count. What a peach of a punch now. Bolt out of the blue, just as he looked as though he was doing pretty well. Second time. Now, it won't necessarily happen if he does go down the third time, but his legs have totally disobeyed him now, Holmes. He's trying to get them back. He's got the experience of walking around the ring, listening to the Cortez's 8 counts. And there's plenty of time in the round now. Tyson won't let him off the hook surely now. What a brave fellow, the way he's walked back into this. Remarkable, but can he last out? 4th round. No, Father Time's going to lick him. His legs are spread. How is he standing up from that? Just tremendous guts. And my heart goes out to Holmes. And full credit for Tyson to say, hey, who's going to stop this caveman of a champion coming in? How is he managing it, Jim, with a countdown clock? Can he make the round or not?
Reg, I can't believe he's still standing. These punches are tremendous punches, bang on target, and he's even trying to... Oh!
Well, that's it. He's waved the end there. He's getting shot. His body's broken up on him, Jim, and it's just as well he missed him with that one. It was amazing. We saw it happening, but it still came as a surprise. There was a big duel. He had his back to our commentary position here. That was the left hook then that started the roll, and that was when he couldn't control his legs there. We thought it was a body punch at first, but what a punch that must have been to knock that big man over.
Well, Gary, I suppose it doesn't matter how big you are or how good you are. If you get caught with a shot like that, you're going to go down.
That's right. Tyson's an exceptional sort of fighter. I suppose when we all went to school, there was always a bloke in the class or in the school somewhere who was short and stocky, and everybody respected him because they knew that he had the strength there. And Tyson is that person, but he's turned into a fighter. That's why he's got exceptional strength.
Does he frighten people like Frank Bruno, Larry Holmes and Tubbs?
I don't think he doesn't frighten other heavyweights, because we're all professional fighters and we can understand what he does, but we all believe we can do the same thing. So I don't think he shouldn't frighten another heavyweight, otherwise we might as well give up.
What's the technique then that makes him so good?
I think it's his unorthodox style, his upbringing, his background. It's a combination of things, but he just happens to be an exceptional fighter. They come along at a time. It was only about a year ago that they were screaming that there aren't any decent heavyweights. And Tyson's come along at a time where there's not that many good heavyweights, and he's walking through them, so he's looking exceptionally good. And he's come along at a period where everything is a lot of hype. So he's been hyped up a lot as well.
Do you think, though, the scars of the last 9 months will affect him in this fight?
I don't think it will affect him in any way at all. He's not the sort of person. He's had worse problems than that. Him living to the age that he has done has been a problem. So if he can live for this long, going in the ring and all that, none of those things will affect him. He'll go in there, and he's single-minded. You can see that when he's actually in the ring. He's concentrated on what he's doing, so all the problems he's had won't affect him at all.
He always looks to me to be absolutely, totally ruthless,
Yes,
which is something you couldn't say about Frank.
No, that is very true. He's got a tunnel vision, a single-minded tunnel vision. Frank has the same sort of thing, but it just comes out in a different way. If Frank was to go in the ring and forget about trying to win, just forget this time about trying to win, go in there and think, let me just have a fight with Mike Tyson and then see what happens. He'll go out there and he'll catch him, because Frank punches equally as hard as Tyson. Maybe not from as many angles, but he punches equally as hard. And with what Tyson has been through of late, if Frank could catch him with a very good punch earlier on, then all the doubts and maybe fears that Tyson has sort of like swept right at the back of his mind might come rushing forward, and then you're in for a completely different fight.
Are these just your views, or are they Frank's as well? Have you been in touch with him and
No,
spoken
I haven't.
to him?
These are my views, but I'm going to try and drum them into Frank when I see him. Because everybody's saying to Frank, you're going to win. They're all lying to him. They shouldn't lie to him at all. Tell Frank that he's in for a fight. Forget about winning. Take this personally. Make it a personal fight. But pretend Tyson has offended his family, and he's going out there to really just have a fight with him. He's going up against all the odds, and he should just go out there and honestly just go out there and just fight. Forget about winning, and forget about looking good or anything else. Just go out there and have a fight, and then take it from round to round.
A scrap as opposed to a
That's
fight.
right, yeah. Because with heavyweight boxing, power is what makes a lot of difference. Frank's got the power, and that can make a lot of difference if he was to land it properly. But it's just a mental attitude, and that's what will be very important on the night.
So you'll be assisting Frank more in a psychological way, as opposed to going over and maybe last-minute sparring or something like that?
Yeah, that's right. All the work's been done now. There'll be no... He won't... I think he most probably would have stopped sparring even now. If he does do any sparring, it'll only be sort of like exhibition sparring. All the work's done now. It's just a time to get him right mentally and get him prepared mentally. But these next 13 days are left. They're going to be harder than all the weeks of training, because that's when everything slows down and everything's concentrated on the fight, and you think more about the fight. The fight's getting nearer, you're thinking, and then all the worries and all the fears, they all start cropping up in your mind. And the worst time will be a day before the fight. The worst time for me in my fights are about 5 minutes before. And can you imagine someone like Frank? He hasn't been in the ring for about 15 months. Him himself knows deep down that he hasn't fought anyone who's anywhere near as good as Tyson for over the last, say, maybe 2 years. And he's going to have to step out of that dressing room with all the crowd there. There's going to be lots of British support out there. There's going to be a lot of Americans, because as you said, it's a soap opera. Everybody wants to see what's going to happen to Mike Tyson. And Frank's got to go in there with all that pressure around him. And that is going to be... honestly, if he can just get through that...
Will he win?
Frank can win. It's worth... The odds that they're giving are ridiculous. There's no such thing as 8-1 and things like that. There's not been two people that have been...
When you arrived here, you said you could give me two answers, the patriotic one and the realistic one. I think you're at the moment leaning towards the patriotic answer. Come on, what is Gary Mason, the boxer? You've been in there, you've been in a ring.
Yeah,
what do you really think?
Realistically, I think Frank's got a chance, but I don't think his mental attitude will allow him to do what he can do. I think, because Frank, he's frozen against lesser man than Mike Tyson, so I don't see how things are going to change now. And that's a realistic point of view. I hope Frank does win, I really do.
Okay, well, we'll talk a little bit more about you later on. But we're going to see a fighter called Alex Stewart, who's a London lad, shortly. Now, what do you know about him?
I've read a lot about him. He's meant to be an up-and-coming hot prospect. They're touting him as a future contender for Mike Tyson. but I haven't actually seen him in action, which I will do in a minute, then I'll give you another opinion.
Okay. Just to confirm, Alex Stewart is British through and through. In the fight we're going to see against Eddie Richardson, he's aiming to equal Mike Tyson's record of 18 consecutive knockouts.
24-year-old Alex Stewart doesn't compare himself to heavyweight champion Mike Tyson, but it's hard not to make some comparisons. He started his pro career with 18 knockouts. Tyson started with 19. No one has lasted longer than 4 rounds with Stewart, and he's had 8 first-round KOs. And just as they did with Tyson, people constantly criticize the caliber of opponent Stewart has fought. In his last fight against Lorenzo Kennedy, Stewart met an opponent who challenged him and his power. And once again, it was Stewart who won out. Alex Stewart says he's ready for anyone who's put in front of him, whether it's a top 10 opponent or not. Alex Stewart says he's on the rise in the heavyweight division, and he's looking forward to meeting an experienced Eddie Richardson tonight.
Well, I'm quite excited about this matchup. I feel that, yes, he has the experience I need, and yes, he has the qualities what I'm looking for in a fighter. But, of course, I'm there to do a job, and I'm going there to beat him.
Are you still conscious of the knockout record? Is it something that you want to attain in order to get some headlines and get some attention focused your way?
Well, naturally, without this knockout, I mean, my career is like at a standstill. I mean, winning, yes, fine. But for me, I just like to go and get a record. And, I mean, it's about time. Somebody has to do it. Why not me?
And now, my good friends, introducing the principals. First, in the blue corner, wearing the black trunks with the white trim. He tipped in at an even 214 pounds. This young man has 13 wins, 11 losses with 7 knockouts. All the way from Dallas, Texas. Ladies and gentlemen, let's welcome aboard Eddie Richardson. And his opponent in the red corner, wearing the black trunks with the gold trim. He weighed in at an even 221 pounds. This gentleman is undefeated in 18 pro bouts with 18 straight knockouts. A native of London, England, and now residing in Brooklyn, New York. Ladies and gentlemen, here is Alex, the Destroyer Stewart.
10th fight of 1988 for Alex Stewart. For Eddie Richardson, as Arthur Mercanti gives them the final instructions. Eddie Richardson's 4th fight in 1988, his first since May 16th.
Well, you know, with an experienced old guy like Richardson, maybe he needed the rest. He's either going to be a lot worse or a lot better, so we'll see when the bell rings, Sam.
He's been in with a lot of top heavyweights, Tyrell Biggs. Mike Tyson stopped him in 1 round in November of 1985. He fought Quick Tillis, Tony Tucker twice, Razor Ruddock, Alden Norris. So he's been in.
Looks like the good ones. Looks like the who's who of the heavyweight division. Who did he miss?
Fought them all. The unfortunate part for Eddie Richardson is that he lost to them all.
He is a brave manager, Sam.
Alex Stewart said in his last fight he got too excited, rushed too much early in the fight. Plans to pace himself a little more in this fight.
Well, I don't know how much pacing he does. He hasn't gone past 4 rounds.
He might have to. By what we saw from Eddie Richardson against Michael Dokes. Richardson was resilient in that fight.
Good snappy jerk by Richardson.
Richardson straight up and down, not too much movement.
Always say, set him up with a jab. Try him out with that jab first. Now he's throwing the left hand first. Let's box. Come on, let's box, fellas.
Good body shots by Stewart.
Stop holding now. Come on.
Richardson right now looks like a sleepwalker.
Got in the left hook.
Just what I said, that he came up with a good snappy left hook.
One scheduled for 10. And Stewart gets in the right hand. Richardson closes.
Stop holding now.
Final seconds of round one. And a very patient and slow beginning for Alex Stewart. Stewart has had 8 first-round knockouts in his career, and now goes to round 2. Round 2 scheduled for 10. Alex Stewart applies the pressure. Looks like he's ready to pick up the action a little bit. And Eddie Richardson says, oh, yeah? Here you go.
Alex was very inaccurate with that right hand last round, Sam. He must have missed 12, 15 right hands last round. Now he's banging to the body. You don't miss too much when you throw down there.
He's walking in to warn Eddie Richardson.
So far, last round, Arthur McCandy warned Richardson 3 times for holding. Now he's warned him again this round.
Richardson being very cute in there.
Nice combination by Stewart. 3 good body punches and then back up to the head. And their punches have plenty of snaps, Sam.
Stewart's not being flustered at all. He's very businesslike.
Can't seem to land that right hand. Looks like that target there is a nice big tall target, but it's never there when the punch comes out.
Looping overhand right. He was watching the Ronaldo Snipes fight, thought he'd take a punch out of his book. There it is again.
His batting average is about over 17 right now.
Great.
He's very effective when he throws those punches to the body.
Richardson missing. And Stewart's mouthpiece fell out on the inside. He got clipped. Mouthpiece dropped out.
Stop holding now in your toes.
Richardson willing to mix it up here in the second round.
Sneaky little uppercut on the inside by Richardson. Stewart is now just overpowering with physical strength. Roughing him up a little bit, and
We'll take a round away from you. Keep holding now.
One more warning.
that's 5 warnings so far.
Now it's getting serious. Now he's mentioned taking a round away. Stewart bangs away with the right hand. Richardson holding on. Stewart keeps banging away. Doing the smart thing. Trying to wear Richardson down. End of round 2. 30-year-old Eddie Richardson walking out of the corner slowly. He looks older.
He looked like 100 years old getting off that stool, Sam. You're like, oh my God, I have to go to work another round.
He's the trial horse for the up-and-coming Alex Stewart. Stewart ranked number 10 by the WBA, number 18 by the WBC. 18-0 with 18 knockouts, and this is round 3. Scheduled for 10. I've given Stewart the first 2 rounds. Gil, what about you?
No question about it. Richardson is just offering token opposition.
Stewart landing the uppercut that seemed to shake up Richardson a little bit. And again, warnings from referee Arthur McCandy about the stiff arm that Richardson's been putting out there. Richardson got hurt with a punch to the stomach. Richardson holding his stomach. He may not get up. I think he wants to quick to get up. Fight's over. That's it.
Well, we mentioned that as long as he punched to the body, he was fine. Just couldn't seem to get the right hand to the head over, but the body punches did it.
A right hand to the body, and Alex Stewart has recorded his 19th consecutive knockout, equaling Mike Tyson's mark at the start of his career. Very impressive start for 24-year-old Alex Stewart, 19-0, 19 knockouts. Eddie Richardson, slow to get up.
There it is right there, right hand, right in the solar plexus. Richardson never saw it, didn't have a chance to prepare for it, and there it is. That's that solar plexus that they always talk about, Sam.
Ladies and gentlemen, the time of this bout, 1 minute and 11 seconds of the third round, and the winner by a knockout for his 19th straight pro win, including 19 straight knockouts, Alex the Destroyer Stewart.
Well, he's got a nickname.
That's right. Well, I've got two nicknames. It's called a right hand and a left hook.
Now, you're in a good position to judge Stewart because you actually fought his opponent there,
That's
Richardson.
right. I fought Richardson about the same time in my career as Stewart did. My fight went 6 rounds. In the third round where he stopped him, I had Richardson on the floor twice, but it was in Spain in a bull ring, and if they allow the Spanish to fight half-dead bulls, I'm sure that when there's 2 humans at it, they're not going to want to stop it for any reason.
So, quick word, what do you think of Stewart?
It's hard to tell at this stage. I went through a similar process as he did, and I would have said that I was good at that stage, so I'd have to say he's good at that stage.
Would you ever go to the States the way he's done?
No, I would. My dearest ambition at this particular time is to be the first British fighter to win the world heavyweight title, so I've got no intention of going anywhere. If you can do it, you can do it from wherever you are.
Mickey Duff has said recently that you could well get a crack at the title in the next 12 months.
Realistically, if Frank doesn't win, the way Tyson's going through the opponents, they'll be looking for other fighters to fight Tyson. And with my record, it's a very good record, and I'm sure he'd love to come to Britain to fight. And so it's a foreseeable match, and the time, 2 years, is a foreseeable time as well.
Do you hope to add a little bit of credibility or bring a little bit of credibility back to the British heavyweight crown, which seems to have been lacking almost since the days of Henry Cooper, if you like?
That's right. I think that the champions that have been, it's nothing to do with their ability as such, but it's just that they just haven't had that thing that's needed in heavyweight fighters, and that's needed to draw the crowd. That's right. And hopefully I've got that little bit, and with a few title defences and a little bit more excitement, then I can add that back. Well, Frank's done a lot for that already, and then me being the British heavyweight champion, hopefully I can continue where Frank's left off.
Do you think Frank's been a little bit overprotected by the likes of Terry Lawless and the people who he's surrounded by?
Yeah, I think he might have been overprotected. Like I can say I've been overprotected as well, but it's all been for the right reasons, because he's now getting his second crack at the world title. And if you look at boxing on the other scale, the main idea of it's for money, for the promoters, really, and the managers. And they're doing well out of Frank, isn't they? So they're doing their job properly. And I suppose you can say Frank's done his share of it properly as well. So he has been protected, but hopefully I hope I'm protected in the same way as well, because I need the money.
Would you? Obviously very realistic sort of chat, very, very articulate for a boxer too, if you don't mind me saying. So would you get involved in all the hype and...
I think it's something that a fighter shouldn't do. You get involved in hype and you lose yourself and you're fooling yourself at the same time. I think it's best to keep as realistic as possible, because at the end of the day, when it's all finished, you're back to square one. There's somebody that takes your place. There's somebody who does what you were doing, and then you're finished, sort of thing. So it's best to keep as near to reality as possible.
Have you got that killer instinct that we were talking about before? Yeah.
No. No, you'd have to actually see me in action, because my expression is completely different, and I've been told I don't even look the same. So I'm smiling here now, but when I'm in the ring, I never smile because there's nothing to smile about there.
I'll say that again. Thanks, Gary. We'll talk again shortly. Next, we'll be reviewing the weekend football at home and abroad. Clive Tilsley and a multitude of ways of bringing the game into disrepute. But right after the break, rugby league and the Wigan way to Wembley. We'll be there.